Today's topic is intuition. Now, over the years, I've spoken and written about intuition so often. What is intuition? How do you tell the difference between intuition and just emotion? How do I know if it's the divine guiding me or it's just my own desires? So what I'm going to do, this book that I wrote with Bob Proctor, Become a Magnet to Money Through the Sea of Unlimited Consciousness. So I wrote this basically from intuition onwards, and before that some of it. We start really getting into mysticism, and then through the Sea of Unlimited Consciousness, you really start going deep about what level of consciousness you're at and how to find out the difference between depression and what a true dark night of the soul is, because most times people think depression is a dark night of the soul when it's just the ego. Because true dark night of the soul, you're not depressed at all. It's this very quick but very, very, whoa, emotional thing where you feel like you suck and you're not worthy. Whereas depression is more about if you feel bad, that people don't like you or you don't have enough money, or, it's more about the outside world. Whereas a true dark night of the soul, which gives you, every time you have one, it's an awakening. It doesn't go on for months and months and months and weeks and weeks and weeks. It's different for everyone, but usually it's like during a meditation, it's very deep and it may have you sobbing. But then when you come out of it, you're brighter, you're lighter. But anyway, what I'm going to do is read what I wrote about intuition and then go a little bit deeper after each paragraph. And really, really listen with your heart. These are not just words. Because when you know something mystically, that means you've had a divine experience, with your higher self, a divine experience with your higher self. So that's true knowing. Whereas saying, oh, well, I've read your book, Michele, and I've read that part and I know that. But have you had the experience of intuition? Are you always 100% clear that it is your divine higher self speaking through you? Or are you still on the borderline, like you're on the seesaw? I don't know, was it or wasn't it? Am I feeling emotional? What is it? I really feel strongly about this. It must be my intuition. If you're ever confused, listen to this. To begin to explain in words the awesome power of our intuition is a true challenge. Intuition is part of consciousness, but it is not pure consciousness. Developing our intuition is vitally important if we wish to be free in consciousness and know that we know. In other words, you've had the experience. Logic has nothing to do with intuition, nor does so-called common sense. Okay, what do I mean when I say it's not pure consciousness? Because once you've had a full awakening, a full Kundalini awakening, then after that, what comes through you, it's sort of like beyond intuition. It's not like, oh, was that God, or is that God through me? It's all the time. So yeah, it's still intuition, but it's beyond that. It's like it's the divine guiding you every step of the way. You don't have a doubt about that. Not at all. And when it's truly the divine through you, it may seem very illogical. And it's not about materialistic things. A lot of the times it's just turn left. Or go straight ahead. No, turn right. No. Without judgment, it'll be like, no, this person isn't for your highest good right now. There's no judgment about this person, but walk away now. Yes, this job is good for you. It's your divine. You don't even have to ask a question. When you want to tap into your intuition, it's very, very good to ask your higher self to meditate on a question and wait. Usually, you'll go to sleep at night and you'll wake up with the answer. So that's intuition, and not in its pure sense, because you're still having to ask the question. But when you go beyond that into mystical intuition, it is your divine higher self giving you the answer immediately, without a question even being asked. Okay? Next. As we melt away the ice of duality, and duality, of course, is the Maya, which is the collective consciousness of everyone who's ever been here on the planet, all their consciousness, all their thoughts, being created into our consciousness to make us think it's our thoughts, our feelings. So that is always some duality between I, me, you, I. Like Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. How do you do that until you've had that mystical experience? You practice. You practice through mindfulness, through knowing, okay, I may not like this person, and that's okay, because we don't resonate at the same oscillation. But there's no judgment. We just don't oscillate at the same vibratory level. That's fine. But your intuition will say, without judgment, this person's good for you. Even if you don't like the person, it's interesting once you really get clear. So as we do melt away the ice of that duality, we become clearer, and then we tap deeply and clearly into the power of our intuition, where our higher self really does speak to us, and we are clearly guided. Our life with this guidance becomes a glorious, happy, and on purpose experience. And you don't have doubt then. Your doubts and your fears are released because you know that you've been guided by your higher self, by the divine presence. And we can never doubt that, because that is always truth, no matter how illogical it looks. I'm just spitting here. God bless you, my child. Whenever we are doing mind practices to bring more clarity and positive emotion, such as meditation and affirmations, our minds become clear and happier, and our intuition becomes stronger. People with strong intuition are invariably happy souls, as that they can trust that they are guided from on high. Actually, I'll keep reading and then we'll go into the whole thing a little deeper. When we understand what intuition is, this is an interesting paragraph, really listen with your heart, as opposed to an emotion we are feeling, our life will dramatically change for the better. We will be divinely guided. Our higher self will be speaking directly to us. We will know whom to speak to, when to speak to them, where to go and where not to go. This is so profoundly important for any person, creative people, any person, which really means every single one of us, because everyone is creative, because the divine side of you is your creative side, is your God side, not your logical side, your God side, which is all parts of you. Then you will become genuinely divinely guided. So study this and begin with a few simple tools. Meditation practice, when followed, are all that's required to help us tap into the power of our intuition. It's not all that's required, but we're keeping this simple. When we practice meditation to release and remove thoughts that come in from the Maya, and we feel that they're our own thoughts, we can get very, very confused. And a lot of people think intuition is an emotion, a strong emotion. Oh no, it's my intuition. I feel very, particularly in romantic situations. I mean, the internet and all this internet dating and stuff, I hear from people all the time. Oh no, I know I'm in love. I haven't even met this person yet, but I can feel it. I can feel this person's really spiritual. I've heard this hundreds of times. So if there's someone watching this who knows me, oh, is she talking about me? No, I'm not talking about your story. It's universal, particularly these days. Even in the old days. And they think, oh no, I'm really in love with this person, and my spirit is totally guiding me that I'm supposed to be with them, and I can be good for them and make them happy, and they can make me happy, and it'll all be good and groovy. And that's emotion. That's ego. It is not intuition. Because when it's intuition and you feel very guided to feel a love for someone, when you feel that way, you don't need to have anything reciprocated back to you ever at all. You don't need to feel like you can do that person good. You do that person good by becoming higher in oscillation. And the higher in oscillation you become, the less thoughts you have. And the less thoughts you have, the more you can understand and feel, like it said, I think Jesus said, that still small voice. So some people go, well, is it a voice? No, but it's like a little thought or just a little nudge. There's no strong emotion in intuition, ever. It's very quiet, and you have to really, really listen. It's just like, turn right. And you might be just coming out of a parking lot from a grocery store, and that still small voice just goes, turn right, even though your logical way of going home is left, and turning right may take you further. You go around the block then. You listen to that because it is guiding you. It is omniscient. It is omniscient, which means it is omnipresent. It can see everything that's going to happen, ever has happened or will happen and is happening, and you will feel it yourself. I'm not talking about the psychic level. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about direct divine wisdom, the omniscience of the divine. I shall continue. Exercising is really important too. Exercising your body helps clear out the old quagmire. Walking around nature helps clear out the thoughts that are sticking to you that you want to release, particularly when you're going to sit down and practice your meditation. Intuition is so beautiful, just like you. Beautiful, simple, and yet so profound. Very simple, just like you. Now, that's actually a compliment. And yet so profound when experienced for our spiritual growth, for your business growth, for everything. As well as for, as I said, career and life choices. Intuition is the infinite intelligence speaking directly through us to us. Intuition means we are in tune with God. It's not someone you hear, oh, I'm going to sing a harmony with you, and they totally can't sing and they're out of harmony, and you're like, you cringe. Don't you cringe? When you hear music and one person's instrument is out of tune, it's just, even if you don't think you have a good musical ear, there'll be something within you that'll just be, oh, that feels off. Because everything in every single person is yelling to be in harmony with the divine, in tune with your higher self. When you are in tune with your higher self, your life becomes harmonious. Harmony reigns supreme. It doesn't matter what we choose to call God. We can call it our magical being, spirit, love, higher self, or infinite intelligence. It doesn't matter what we choose to call it. It is our true higher self, our higher power. So when we are awake to our intuition, we are awake and in tune with God. Awake and in tune with God. So exercise your body, look after yourself, have an enlightened teacher transmit light to you, practice your meditation, do whatever it takes to look after yourself, to be of service to the light, to be on that path, to look after your inner and outer self in all areas. And imagine, just imagine that you will be able to know what to do and when to do it. There'll be no, oh my God, I'm feeling so emotional about this little puppy, really needs to be fostered, it needs to be adopted, or they say it's going to be euthanized. It may not be for the highest good of that puppy for you to adopt it. However, just because doesn't mean you don't have a heart. You can go ahead and help get that puppy adopted. I did this just the other day. I was at a puppy cat store and there was this beautiful puppy and these people were fostering it, and they fostered it because they said otherwise it was going to get euthanized. And so I got them in contact with my vet, who is the most beautiful soul, And if there's a dog that's healthy and it doesn't need to be euthanized, many times he's just adopted them himself. We just love this vet. He's beautiful. Love him. Everyone loves him. So she's going to take him to see, the little girl dog actually, to see the vet. So even though you may be over emotional, it doesn't mean that you don't have heart and you make a decision based on, okay, my intuition has told me it's not right for me to adopt a puppy right now. I may end up having to move where we can't have a pet. And you've got to, when you adopt an animal, you've got to always think of you are the parent then. You can't just let it go. But you can assist with getting it adopted, can't you? So we don't go crazy and go, oh, well, I'm not allowed to do that because my intuition, because then your emotion and your logic will get involved. You just allow it to guide you, and it will assist you in every way, with helping puppies, to helping your career, to assisting you in your own life so that you've got clarity about what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And it always works. That is a small taste of intuition from me, Michele Blood.